because it's a little hard, I know, for those of us who don't read regularly in the books of in our books. Lord Balaram expands into this world as the Guru Tattva. What is that? Guru Tattva is not the individual spiritual master. Guru Tattva is that which is working through the spiritual master. I think we all have experienced in either in the past or when we were very connected with our spiritual master, or in the present where we are establishing a contact with our spiritual master. I think we have experienced that through this contact, Krishna becomes manifest and works and does something in our life. What you have experienced there is not necessarily your spiritual master, but it is that which flowed through the spiritual master, the Guru Tattva, the truth, or the philosophical essence of that. Mm-hmm. So Balaram is very easily accessible in that he expands into this world and works even through a human being, so that through this human being, the divinity, the divine essence can be perceived. I have seen this in my own life. When I met Srila Prabhupada, I saw during the first meeting how a light of spiritual strength was emanating from him and calling me into his life. So what I experienced there is the Guru Tattva, the Balaram who comes into this world and acts through a human being to touch our heart. I'm just now hearing that we have now managed to overcome the initial internet difficulties, and we are now on the air and can address our devotees who are seeing us through the internet. And I just was telling the devotees here, when you were still offline, I think we call it, or not connected with us, or with this room here, that in my own search for divine love, I have arrived at the door of Lord Nityananda, who is the direct manifestation of Lord Balaram, and the compassion of God, the most compassionate feature of the Lord. I would like to show this now by telling you a little pastime which has evolved into a divine, into something which we have all experienced in our lives. Once Lord Govinda and Lord Balaram, the performers of wonderful pastimes, were in the forest of Vrindavan, playing Holi in the night with the beautiful gopis of Vrindavan. Holi celebrates the arrival of spring, where the people are very joyous because it indicates a new beginning. And to celebrate their joy, they take colors and throw them on each other and color themselves. It's a festival of colors. On that day, Srimati Radharani was sitting in the palace, in her palace in Vashana, when all of a sudden some gopis came to her, some of her friends, and said, "It's not time now for you to sit, beautiful Queen of Vrindavan. Before the staircase which leads into your palace, two handsome boys have appeared, Krishna and Balaram. It's time to play holy." And then when this comes, the signal, everyone calls out, "Horika, Horika, Horika," and gathers their color, and then an amazing festival starts, which is going on up to this present day, where this scene is reenacted. People from the village of Nandagram arrive at the staircase of the Queen of Vrindavan in front of her palace, and it's announced that they are come. They have come, and then there is a lively festival of colors, to which some devotees who are courageous and not afraid of losing their new Karl Langenfeld Anzug, if they have one, or any other cloth, go and participate, and they come back. They look like people from another planet because of the colors which are on their bodies. So it is said Krishna and Balaram were at this particular evening, when they played holy in the night in the forest, they were dressed with flower garlands, they had spotless garments, and their limbs were beautifully decorated and anointed. They began to sing with beautiful voices, because they felt intoxicated by the fragrance of jasmine flowers. They were surrounded by the king of bees and his people, who were making noise, and the women sang their glories. The ancient texts say when Krishna and Balaram sang, they produced the entire range of musical sounds simultaneously. That means all the ragas in all the different tonalities, and in the West we would say from the tenor down to the baritone. Everything was in their song, and they brought happiness to the ears and minds of all living beings. This, of course, is an ancient devotional text. It is cited in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, and it shows us an ideal which many of us have forgotten, the ideal of love and joy which is there in the spiritual world. This is an area or dimension which we all look for, either directly or indirectly. But we are so unfortunate in this world that we think when there is a chemical reaction in the brain, which comes when there is a contact of the senses with sense objects, that this is love, or that this is an enjoyment or pleasure or happiness. But what we are really hankering for is not an interpretation of a chemical reaction, but it is an experience, a soul and heart-fulfilling experience of unconditional love and joy. My spiritual master has written about this, something which I would like to read for you. He has not written it, he has spoken about this. He has said, Krishna is a big fire, and we are small sparks in that fire. We are also fire, but very small. When the sparks can remain within the fire, they are very beautiful. But as soon as the sparks fall out of the fire, then he makes a sound, pat, pat. They are extinguished. No more fire. Black coal. So if you want happiness, then you have to dance with Krishna. But Krishna is Pavitram. He is the supreme pure. If you want to take pleasure in the company of Krishna and dance in the rasa dance, then you also must first become purified. Ksavopadi vinirmuktam. He quotes a verse which says, you must become free from your false identifications, and become purified like this. So it is described in our scriptures when Krishna was dancing and playing holy in this idyllic situation, he was feeling a feeling of where is everyone else? And because he felt this desire to exchange rasa with his unlimited part and parcels, also those who had fallen into the material world, he took on an incarnation where he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and where Balaram came as Nityananda Prabhu. This incarnation or avatar combines two purposes in one. The first purpose is actually not the one which I told you about. The first purpose is a question which Krishna had. Radharani loves me so much. What exactly is it in me which makes Radharani so attracted to me? Have you ever asked this question in regards to yourself? What is it in me that people like? Mostly you may have thought, what is it in me for people? What gets on the nerves of people, you know? But have you ever tried to understand yourself and found came upon your limitations? And at that time you must have asked yourself, if I could see myself through the eyes of these people, then I would really get to know about myself things which I don't understand now. By the way, this is a good exercise for people who want to mature. Don't always see yourself through your twisted vision. Try to see yourself through the eyes of others, and you might see things which are very good, but you might see also things which give you a lot of space for improvement. It's a very, very nice. When I was a young boy, I was thinking I had the most beautiful voice of the universe, until my father gifted me with a tape recorder and said, "You sound so bad. Just speak into the tape recorder and then you will hear how you really sound." And I did it, and I was shocked. For a week I stopped singing and spoke very few words, because I had seen that I was an illusion about my abilities. This is an experience in the material world which just wants to make the point that seeing ourselves through other eyes gives sometimes a clue or an insight into areas which we are not even aware of. So Krishna felt that desire. The Radharani and the gopis are so attracted to me. What is it that they see in me? I would like to understand this, and therefore I will take now an avatar where I'm not like God, but where I am the devotee of God, and that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he, and while he was having this idea to come into this world, to experience the emotional fulfillment of someone who worships the Lord, he also had this idea, let me reclaim the conditioned soul and help them to qualify again, to dance into the fire or to return to the eternal spiritual world. Let me preach that process or spread that process which helps them to become purified from their illusions for good. And then they can again, upon becoming touched by my Bhakti Shakti, they can develop transcendental love for me and return to me. This is a loving mission to reclaim the fallen souls. And that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. Now, this is again and again, let me say, highlighted in the scriptures, that Chaitanya and Nityananda are Krishna and Balaram. And I found just one very nice medieval scripture. It is called the Abhiram Lilamrita, a biography which was written in the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or a little afterward, which brings out this point in a very sweet way. Chaitanya and Nityananda are Krishna and Balaram on a special mission. The Leela is like this. When Lord Chaitanya once did kirtan in Navadvip with all his devotees, he suddenly remembered his identity of being Krishna in the spiritual world. And he missed his dear devotees, the Sridham. So he started in the midst of the kirtan to lose his balance. He rolled on the ground and called out, Sridham, Sridham! Sridham, Sridham! Yes. Who is one of his cowherd boyfriends and the older brother of who? Of Radharani, yes. And Mahaprabhu then told Nityananda Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, bring Sridham to me quickly. He's hiding somewhere in Braj. I'm feeling very much heartbroken in his absence. So Nityananda went into the heart of Vrindavan. Whom do you find in the heart of Vrindavan? Radharani is always good, but I mean, a good answer. The sacred mountain Giriraj. And he went on a circumambulation of Govardhan, Nityananda Prabhu, and he loudly called out, Sridham, Sridham. All of a sudden, remember, this is in the year 15,000, he saw out of a cave a beautiful being coming out. He was dressed like a little cowherd boy, but just seeing him, one felt a river of love gushing forward from his heart, and he was effulgent. I mean, these associates of Krishna look so absolutely attractive, like we have never seen anything or anyone like this in the world. So Sridham was quite high in size. He looked at the little Nityananda, who was also 2 meters. He said, a little puzzled, "Who are you?" And what is it that you want? Nityananda Prabhu said, "It's me, your friend Balaram. It's Kali Yuga now, and sizes are a little different. When we came here in Dwaraka Yuga, our size was quite high size, big size. Now we are all a little bit more small size. It's Kali Yuga. And all of us have taken birth actually in Sridham Mayapur, where we perform our Leela. And our Kanai, our Krishna, listen to that, he has a golden complexion now, and he always calls out, "Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, where are you?" Sridham looked at Nityananda and said, "Don't believe that you are Balaram, like you say." Then he thought for a moment, "If you say you are Balaram, then you have to prove it. I'm the fastest runner, and there's only one personality who can keep up with me, and that's Balaram." Then he ran, like a flash of lightning, around Govardhan. He ran 3 times around Govardhan, and then he looked back to see if that person who claimed to be Balaram was anyway nearby. But when he looked back, he couldn't see him. There was no one there. However, when he looked to the side, he saw Nityananda was there. He had run as fast as Sridham. Sridham said, "All right, can you just explain one more time what happened?" Nityananda said, "We were playing together in Govardhan, hide and seek." "Yes," said Sridham Gopa, "and I went to this very nice cave where no one could find me." "Yes, we couldn't find you actually, and then we thought, let's play another pastime, and we came to the to Navadvip, where we started the Sankirtan pastime. But now Krishna has noted that you are not there in his company any longer. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's missing you dearly, and he sent me to bring you." Have you ever played hide and seek and then were forgotten? This is how Sridham Saka felt. So there are many such, this is a story which is told to Bengal and villages and so on. It's a story which has a very big value, I think, because it gives us an understanding how deeply entrenched in the spirituality of our tradition is the understanding that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that Krishna came down with Balaram into the age of Kali, our present age, in order to, to search for the lost servant, for the people like you and me. I would like to now sing a song with you, which celebrates Lord Nityananda. I think you have the song sheet there. This song very nicely explains something about Lord Nityananda's appearance. It says, the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are a shelter where one will get the soothing moonlight, not only of one, but of millions of moons. No? When it's very hot, and you suffer from the heat of the summer heat, then it's very nice if you go in the how do you say, in the night out, and when you see the moon, the full moon in the night, it's not hot like when the sun shines. It's very pleasing, it's very relieving, very cooling, very refreshing. No? This is Lord Nityananda's mercy. We are all overheated, and I can see most of you are deeply asleep during this lecture. Not or struggling with sleep because you had a tiresome week, I think, and you're maybe hot. But the real heat, which is worse than bodily temperature, is the heat of material desires, which keep us running. And when we come to spiritual life, we are reminded that there's something nicer. We come to the shade, the moon of Lord Nityananda. Unless one takes shelter under the shade of the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, it will be very difficult for him to approach Radha Krishna. So let us please sing this. Oh, Vita Radhe Premanandi Hari 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 Bol. We don't have so much time left, but I just wanted to end by saying that the word or the name Nityananda means eternal ananda or eternal ecstasy and pleasure. And Lord Nityananda really, without asking for any sadhana, any qualification, was bringing people whom he met immediately in contact with this eternal joy and eternal pleasure. He started a large movement in Bengal, and he had the following way in which he spread Krishna consciousness. He once went to a village of gold merchants who were the richest in Bengal. It's the Vedic. They had a big problem with the king Balsen because the king wanted to divide the society into touchables and untouchables. It was the time where the Muslims invaded the country, and in order to, have control over the people, that is, those who were Hindus, they were touchables, and those who were not Hindus, were untouchable. He demanded a strict division of the society into these two groups. But those gold merchants in Saptagram were not agreeing with this political move and were therefore declared by the king of Bengal to be untouchables. They were the ideal candidates for Lord Nityananda's mission, who usually went to the people who were hopeless, wretched, ostracized, rejected by society, really the outcasts of society. And he spread his movement of universal love and ecstasy right there, and they were so grateful. They gave him ample riches. All of a sudden, the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had financial support. Lord Nityananda was dressed, with pearls, with jewels on his body. He looked really like something. And he made big festivals where he invited whole villages to offer food or prasadam. And of course everyone came for these festivals. And there he spread his ecstatic mission of love of Godhead, and soon whole countries became, or districts and countries became his disciples, and the chanting of the holy name was heard in every house and every village. So in this, and then Lord Nityananda developed a strategy called Namhatas, that everyone who came in contact opened a little, so to say, marketplace of the holy name in his own house and village, and the only item which was there on this marketplace was the holy name. Very soon, people started to chant the holy name and experience the purification of the heart. it's described when Lord Nityananda would tour the country, there were really hundreds, thousands of people who were singing, who were laughing, who were dancing, who really had an experience, a divine experience of sparks dancing in the fire. No, you can understand this analogy. They felt empowered. They felt their life had changed. And that's how Lord Nityananda, who even took in this wave drunkards and very unqualified people who would never have anything to do with Vedic life and rules of cleanliness and uncleanliness. He just was one big wave, one tsunami wave, which went and spread the chanting of the holy name. This he was not always understood, because at that time, like also today, people think in certain religious boxes. But Lord Nityananda, he could not be fit in any box. He was called an avaduta, someone beyond the rules and regulations. Once one Brahmin friend who had gone with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to school, who had seen Lord Nityananda and his ecstatic movement, he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and said, "Some say he is a sannyasi, but he dresses in turbans. He has no iron, he doesn't have a sannyas stick, he has an iron rod, he is dressed with jewels and smeared with sandalwood. Who is he?" And Lord Chaitanya answered, "He is totally beyond all the rules and regulations of this world." And he gave an example, like a lotus leaf can never actually absorb water, the water falls off, or mercury, quecksilver, falls off. Lord Nityananda is never touched by the ways of this world. He's simply Nityananda. Even and then he quoted a verse which he had once composed about Lord Nityananda. Once Lord Chaitanya met Nityananda in a garden in Puri, and Lord Nityananda was sitting in just in ecstatic love. He was smiling and crying to be together with Chaitanya. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and walked around Lord Nityananda and sang one verse. This verse says, "Even if I see Lord Nityananda coming out of a liquor shop, or taking the hand of an unchaste woman, as if to marry her, he is nevertheless the Supreme Lord whom even Lord Brahma worships." In this way, something which I think is intellectually quite stimulating was established in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. Then sincerity and enthusiasm is what counts. The holy name can purify everyone from all areas of society and can give love of Godhead and qualify one to go back home, back to Godhead. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said no one can imitate the behavior of Lord Nityananda, just like no one can imitate Lord Shiva, who drank an ocean of poison and kept it in his throat, which from that day gave him the name Nilakanta, the blue-throated one. No one can imitate, but it just shows you how Chaitanya Bhakti is absolutely beyond, let me say, the narrow categories of unspiritual people who invent different forms of religion, and is based really on that experience of being close to the Lord, dancing in the fire, of love and so on. Yes, there are many more things to be said about Lord Nityananda, but I have the pleasure to end on time. I want to just end with one very nice verse, which you please repeat. It says, the verse says, those who wish to cross the ocean of material existence and drown in the ocean of bhakti should worship Lord Nityananda. Yes. Please repeat. Samsarera Padahai Bhakti Rasagare Ye dubi besei Bajuka Nitai Chandere Those who wish to cross the ocean of material existence. I hope there are few amongst you who have this project. Those who wish to cross the ocean of material existence and drown in the ocean of bhakti should worship Lord Nityananda. Hare Krishna. Thank you very, very much. I have given a promise to end on time, so that everything can go very harmoniously and nicely. And I'm 30 seconds before the end. This is a great, great, great reason for me to celebrate. I wish you all the best. May Lord Nityananda bless you. May he give you his inconceivable mercy. And may you understand a little bit the gift of Lord Nityananda. The gift of bhakti, which makes you forget the fire of material desires and purifies your heart to a degree that you can go back home, back to Godhead, and enter the spiritual world of loving relationships. Lord Nityananda ki jai. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Finished. Ja, it's